Hi everyone, welcome to this new video series for Korg Arranger keyboards. This series is for general tips and tricks for Korg PS series arrangers. This is the first video and this is about loading styles and performances or keyboard sets from a third-party set while you have another set already loaded on the keyboard. When you load data from a third-party set, the styles and performances may not sound correct because of sound mismatch. I'll show you how to do that on the keyboard without affecting any of the existing data and without using any other tools. There are two methods to do this. So I'm going to do this in two parts. This is the first part, and in this one, I'll show you the first method. In the next video, I'll show you the second method. It is always safer to take backup of your existing data on the keyboard before doing any major changes. You can save the full data to a pen drive or SD card or even to the internal memory. For saving the data, press Media, then go to the Save tab. Select the folder All, press the Save To button. Now select a target device from here, USB, SD card or internal memory. Now select a target folder. Now press the New Set button. Give a name to the set file. Press OK. Now this screen is for selecting the items to be saved. All items are selected by default. We will save all the items. Press OK. It will save the data now. It will take some time based on how much data you have on the keyboard. If you have user samples, it may take more time. That's complete. Let me load a style from a different set to my keyboard first. I have another set already in the keyboard. For selecting that set, press the Media button, then select the Load tab. This is a set I am going to load the style from. We cannot load the entire set altogether in this case because it will replace your existing data. So we need to load the styles and sounds separate. Select the set and press Open. For loading the style, select the Style folder and press Open. There are 3 user banks in it. For this demo, I load one style from the user bank 1. You can load the entire bank if you have a free bank on the keyboard. If not, it is better to load the styles one by one to a free space available on one of the user banks. I am selecting user bank 1. There is only one style in this bank. Let me load it now. Pressing load. By default, it will load to the same location as in this set. But I already have another style on that location and I don't want to replace it. So we can select a different location for loading it. Press select and choose a location to load it. I'm going to load it here. That's loaded. Let's play that style now. That doesn't sound right. Most of the time the drum kit will sound weird if the correct drum kit is not found. So why is it happening? And how to fix it? The track sounds of the styles and performances or keyboard sets are mapped to a location if they are from a user bank. When you have a different sound on that location, that sound will be used to play the style or the keyboard set. So it is a location, not the sound which is mapped to the tracks. That is the reason why it doesn't sound correct while you have another set on the keyboard. So how to fix this? You need to map the correct sound by editing the style or keyboard set or performance. Now I'll show you how to map the correct sound for the style we just loaded. Before that, let me explain a little about the file system in Korg PS series arrangers. The sounds, styles, performances or keyboard sets and songbook data are stored in their own libraries in the memory. The library structure is like this. There will be different sections for factory, user, etc. in each library. Each section will have a preset number of banks in them. Inside the banks, there will be a set of pages. Each page has 8 locations. The styles or keyboard sets or sounds are stored in these locations in their libraries. The number of banks and the number of pages and locations in each bank is preset in the operating system of the keyboard. We cannot add or delete banks or locations in the libraries. This is a styles library. This is a library for performances or keyboard sets. In the older models, these are called performances, but in the new keyboards, they are called keyboard sets. This is a sounds library. It has separate sections for factory, legacy, general MIDI and XG, and user sounds. This is a user sound section. These are the banks in it. There will be separate banks for the normal sounds and the drum kits. These are the normal sound banks. And these are the drum kit banks. This is a PA4X, so it has 6 user sound banks and 3 user drum kit banks. Other models will not have these many banks. When you save the data to a storage device like a pen drive or SD card, it will create a set folder with other subfolders in it for styles, sounds, pads, songbooks, keyboard sets, etc. and the respective data in each of them. This is one set folder which is saved from the keyboard. We can open it by pressing open from here. This is what a set folder contains in it. The style folder contains different .sty files in them, which represent the different banks in the user area of the styles library. In the sounds folder, there will be some .pcg files. These files represent the user banks like sound 1, sound 2, drum kit 1, etc. If you open a pcg file, these are the different sounds in it. There is a location number for each of the sounds. This is a location number within the bank. It is a number starting from 1. The first location in the first page of the bank will have a location number 1. The last one on the first page is number 8. And the first one on the second page is number 9 and so on. So when you load the data into the keyboard, each PCG file will load the sounds in the exact location in the respective bank. Okay, now I'll show you how to map the correct sound for the style we loaded now. There are 2 methods for this. The first method is the easiest one. This can be used if you have enough free banks in the user sounds area to load the banks from which these sounds are used in the style tracks. There may be normal sounds and drum kits. We have to load each of those banks to free user banks. Next method is for a situation where you don't have enough free banks in the user area to load all the needed banks there. In this case, you need to load the sounds used in the tracks individually to a free location in a bank. If there is no free location, you have to replace some of the existing sounds in the user banks. Let's do it with the first method now. Going to the style edit page. Now in the variation 1, checking the drum track. It is pointed to a sound from the user drum kit 1 bank. Now the percussion track. It is also pointed to the same sound. The other tracks in variation 1 are pointed to the factory sounds, so we can ignore those. Going to the variation 2. The percussion track is pointed to the same sound as in variation 1. Checking the drum track. It is pointed to a different sound, but from the same bank. These tracks are pointed to the factory sounds. This one is pointed to the user bank. This section displays the bank name and the program change data. It is pointed to a sound from the sound 1 bank. So we have 2 banks now in the list. Let's check the fill 1 as well. This has the same structure as in variation 2. No new banks here. So this style is using sounds from 2 user banks. If we load those 2 banks PCG file from the set to the same banks in the keyboard, this style would sound perfect. But we cannot do that because there are other sounds in those banks already, which may have been pointed to some of the existing styles and keyboard sets or performances. So we need to load them to other free banks and remap the style tracks to the new banks. Let's close the style edit page and load the sounds now. Press media. Here we are already in the style folder of that set. To go up, press the close button. Now select sound and press open. We know the drum kits map to the style were in drum kit 1 bank. First I will load the entire drum kit 1 bank to an empty bank. There are 3 drum kit banks here. I am loading the entire drum kit 1 bank from the set to the drum kit 3 bank on the keyboard. There is another sound which is style used from the user 1 bank in the accompaniment 3 track. So I'm going to load the user 1 to another free bank. I'm loading it to the user 6. That is complete. Now close this page and go to the style edit page again. For variation 1, the drum track is pointed to the drum kit 1 bank and the first location in page 2. We have the sounds from drum kit 1 bank of this set loaded into drum kit 3 bank here. So press drum kit 3 and select the same location in it. This is the benefit of loading the entire bank to a free bank. Point to the same location as in the original bank to the new user bank. So the page 2 first location of the drum kit 1 will be changed to page 2 first location of the drum kit 3 bank. Percussion track is also pointed to the same location. Change it to the drum kit 3 bank. Let's play this variation now. That sounds fine. I'm not doing anything on the other tracks. They are all pointed to the factory sounds. Now going to the variation 2. This is still not okay. It is because we haven't done the remapping here yet. We have to do it for each element separate. Selecting the percussion track, changing it to drum kit 3. The drum track is mapped to the second location of page 5 in the drum kit 1. Changing it to drum kit 3 and second location of the page 5. Let's play it now. That was a tabla pattern. Now the correct sound is mapped to it. It is playing fine now. There is one more sound. The accompaniment 3 track was pointed to a user sound. Let's fix that one also. This is pointed to the first location of page 10 in user 1 bank. We had loaded the user 1 bank to the user 6 bank here. So selecting user 6, going to the page 10 and selecting the sound in the first location. That is fixed. The sound is correct. All the tracks sound fine now. Let's update the fill one. It is the same as variation 2. That is complete. Now the remapping is complete. We have done it in variation 1, variation 2 and field 1. I am skipping the other elements. After the remapping is complete, we need to save the style. It is saved now. Exiting from record. Let's play the style now. Now this style has the correct sounds. This is the first method of remapping the sounds for the tracks. You can use the same method to load performances or keyboard sets. Load them to a free location, then check the sound banks used, load the sound banks to free user banks, then remap the sounds and save the keyboard set. One point to note here is, you can load the styles and performances or keyboard sets to any banks or locations. That won't create a conflict. Only the sounds need to be in the correct bank and location. That's it for this video. In the next video, I'll show you the second method. That is for a situation where you don't have enough free banks to load the banks with the sounds. Thank you.